Welcome to From the Shed End podcast with myself, T.Dot. As always, thank you for joining me and tuning in. But before we get into any content for today, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You've done the hard part, you found the videos, but make sure you hit the bell. Make sure you don't miss any notifications or no episodes as well. We're going to be putting out a lot more of these sort of ad hoc videos as well. So make sure you tune into them. But also as well, I want to show you guys how you can search for us on Spotify if you want to listen to the podcast in a bit more detail as to what me and Theo talk about on the podcast episodes. I'm going to show you guys right now. So you don't need, now this is a sort of confusion with a lot of people that have asked me over the past couple of weeks. You don't need to pay for Spotify to listen to podcasts. So if you download Spotify, you'll be able to get onto the channel or the podcast. You'll be able to listen to them. If you search From the Shed End on there, you'll be able to sign up, search From the Shed End, and you'll be able to go back and listen to all the episodes that we did all the way back to last October we started, April. So we've nearly been doing this a year. So yeah, April we started episode 1 when we lost to a massive defeat to West Brom. But you can go back and listen to all the episodes that they're on there. Apple, it's very much the same. Make sure you search From the Shed End podcast, and then you'll be able to see all of the episodes previously that we've done. You can relive the Champions League with us as well. Obviously, that was a brilliant episode to do. Yeah, there's loads of episodes on there. We can even talk about when Lukaku came back to the club as well. So the Super Cup finals on there as well. So there's a lot of content that you guys are probably missing out on, but you do not need to pay $9.99. A lot of people asked me that over the last couple of days. You don't need to pay for a subscription to make sure you're on here. You can actually just download the app, and podcasts are free. So it's a win-win. You're missing out, guys. But yeah, listen, make sure you do that. But also as well, I think we need to talk about the awards yesterday, because obviously we scooped up, we cleaned up, we done well. Thomas Tuchel, Emma Hayes, they done their thing. So let's go through that really quickly as well. Obviously, we're talking about Thomas Tuchel was crowned world's best manager or best coach. Let's get it right. Best coach of 2021. Emma Hayes, the best FIFA women's coach at the FIFA Awards ceremony in Zurich last night. So huge congratulations to them. Obviously, Thomas Tuchel beat off the competition of Roberto Mancini and Pep Guardiola as well. So he's in there with some tough crowd. You know, he's got quite a competition to beat there. And yeah, credit to both of them. They've done well. Obviously, Emma Hayes got her OBE as well, only recently in the New Year's Honours. She was also named WSL Manager of the Season for 2020-2021 and was inducted into the FA WSL Hall of Fame. So she's done very well in her own rights as well. She beat off the Spain and Barcelona coach and also Netherlands as well. So she's done really well to do that. So congratulations to both of them. Also as well, I think we need to quickly talk about Edouard Mendy, who was named the goalkeeper of the year as well. So that's been something that I think we need to touch on, because I think he done really well in terms of that. I mean, we're talking about, again, the competition that he's had to pull off. Donnarumma, Manuel Neuer as well. Tough competition, man. Tough crowd. So I think we've got, again, 27 clean sheets, conceded just 34 goals in 51 games. Come on, this is world-class territory. So he definitely deserves it. I think, if I'm not mistaken as well, he's the first African to win this award. So it's another achievement for him. Obviously he's away currently at the moment with the Senegal national team playing in the AFCON. But yeah, looking forward to him coming back and returning back to Stamford Bridge as well. So that's some really good news to start on after what was a very sort of downbeat weekend after losing to Manchester City. But look, we need to get realistic. We need to forget about winning the title. The title is Manchester City's. We have to congratulate them. They played the best football throughout the course of a season, and that's how you win the league, obviously. So we have to credit them for that. But look, we need to focus and refocus our attention now to winning as many trophies as we can. We're in a lot of trophies. We've still got a lot to play for. And also as well, I think we need to remember that we're not actually playing that bad of our football isn't that bad. We're having moments where we're not scoring, but overall, I think we can be confident and be proud of the team. Obviously, our attacking, our offensive issues are still there. we're going to get onto that shortly when we do our predicted lineup for tonight's game. But we aren't playing that bad, and in my personal opinion, I'm quite happy with the results that we've got. I'm just going to bring up the league table for you guys so you can see this, but we are playing that bad. Like, I think there's a lot of rumbling around, obviously, because of the fact that we started the season very well. We should be doing better. We had a lot of draws. We've drawn 7 games. We find ourselves in third place. So some of those games, which I mentioned earlier on I think it was probably around episode 40 of From the Shed, and that we are losing or we're drawing games that we should be winning. It's those games where the Watfords where we nearly lose, or Burnleys and stuff like that. We should be beating those teams. And I think because we haven't, this is where we find ourselves now. So I think we have to just be realistic and look at the table as it is. Obviously, you look at that now. Arsenal have got 2 games in hand. Liverpool have still got a game in hand as well. Spurs, I think, have got about 5 games in hand. So, we need to start thinking of what's behind us instead of looking ahead. I think we need to start being a bit more realistic. Obviously, Leeds done us a bit of a favour, beating West Ham at the weekend, but we need to start being a bit more realistic. We are on 43 points, but at the same time as well, we don't want to lose too much sight of Liverpool. We don't want them to go on a long run, and then it's a competition between 3rd and 4th place, which is looking a bit more likely that that is going to be. There's going to be obviously Man City at the top. Then we kind of want to keep on Liverpool's toes as well. We don't want them to steamroll ahead, and then it is literally just a fight for 3rd and 4th place in the league. So I think we've got to be more realistic. We've got to look at this now that we aren't going to win the league. I think if we'd beaten City, I think it would have been 7 points between us and City. It's a bit more realistic. It's a bit more achievable, but now the gap's too big. That gap there that they've got, it's unrealistic for us to even consider winning the league, especially the form that City are in. So I think we have to be realistic and say that we aren't going to win the league, but we do need to start focusing now, realigning our plans for the season, and just making sure that we can try and get at least as high up that table as possible. And I think that's what we can do. But look, we've got to talk about Brighton. We've got to talk about Brighton. It's going to be a tough game tonight. Obviously, Tariq Lamptey is going to be in their team. I love him. I think he's a brilliant player. I think I've always said this about Brighton, so I'm going to get this out of the way first of all. I think they play some brilliant football. They create a lot of chances, but they don't score enough goals. And I think this is the only problem for me with Brighton. We've got a brilliant record against them. We don't tend to lose. I think we haven't lost at the Amex before, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot to play for in this game. Obviously, Brighton, again, they need the points just as much as anyone. They're pushing for that Europa League or Europa League conference place. So they're going to want to get as many points on the table as possible. And it isn't going to be as easy as I think people are expecting this game to be. One of the things that I want to quickly go through on here is making sure that we can look at the lineup. And I think the lineup's going to be, for me personally. Now, before I go into the lineup, I just want to mention this, that the reason I've gone for the 4-2-2-2 is because, yes, we do have Alonso. Yes, we do have Cesar Azpilicueta, who are both fit. And Cesar's in the team for me. But in terms of the way that Brighton play, I personally think it's going to suit us more playing a back 4 as opposed to a back 5, when we're potentially expecting Alonso and Azpilicueta to keep Cucurella and Tariq Lamptey quiet for that game. So I think if we play the back 4, it gives us a bit more of a solid back line as well. I think obviously we're used to seeing Alonso and Azpilicueta or Reece James, when he's fully fit, pushing forward up the pitch, and Brighton love to do that as well. So I think we need to understand who we're playing against, the qualities that they pose in those areas as well. We don't want to leave ourselves too exposed at the back. So I think for me, the formation that I've gone with makes sense. The players, quickly, I'll go through them. I think Kepa in goal, obviously, it's a no-brainer. There's no one else really to play there. Cesar Azpilicueta, right back. Malang Sarr, who I'm going to touch on now, I think has been he played there against Spurs, I think, and he played again. I think he might have played there against Chesterfield or maybe Spurs in the first leg, and he's looked very comfortable there. He's not put a foot wrong, as I mentioned in the previous video that I put out. He hasn't put a foot wrong at that position, and yeah, look, it's either him or Alonso. And I think, yes, Alonso's naturally that's his position. He plays at that left wing back position. But I think Malang Sarr can do a job there tonight. I think it'll make a lot more sense to play him there as opposed to Alonso, who we saw at the weekend with Raheem Sterling, who had a field day down there at that right side of Alonso pretty much most of the game. Tariq Lamptey's going to be doing the same thing to Alonso if we put him there, in my opinion. So I put Malang Sarr there. Obviously, Thiago Silva, Antonio Rudiger at two centre backs. I think solid. They're forming a bit of a partnership there at the moment as well. So I think that makes a lot of sense to me to have them two at the back. Midfield, I've gone for Kante and Kovacic, who, again, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. I think at the end of the day, we need to understand that this is the team that we're playing now. We're playing Brighton, who again like to make it scrappy in that midfield. They like to fight for the ball, try and win possession, keep possession, use that pockets of space that they like to make as well. So in my opinion, I'd go for them too in midfield. And just in front of them as well, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Mason Mount. Now, Tuchel came out in his press conference yesterday and said he left out Mason Mount against Man City due to the fact that he wanted to try something different tactically in terms of going forward. Now, that didn't work. He's admitted that. It hasn't paid off. We didn't win the game. So I think we're going to see Mason Mount come back into this game. He has to play a part. He's someone who creates things. He makes things happen. He's someone that you miss when they haven't got you in the team. He's someone that you miss. So I think, in my opinion, you got to bring him back. And obviously we're losing that sort of fluidity down the sides with not having that back five if we do go for a back four. So I think we need to have someone who can make things happen, let something for the two forwards to run onto as well. So I think Mason Mount's got to be back in the team. I'd be very, very, very surprised if Tuchel leaves him on the bench for today. It didn't make sense for me that he came on, I think, in the 81st minute against Man City. I explained that in the previous video, but I think he's got to play a part. He's someone that can change the game for me. And Hudson-Odoi as well. He loves to take on players. He likes to get as many crosses in. I think having Hudson-Odoi there will make Tariq Lamptey have to think about something as well. So it might mean that Tariq Lamptey can't get forward as much as well. So I think having Hudson-Odoi there is good. I think it's a good option. Again, if you don't want to bring on Alonso, you've got the option of taking off Malang Sarr and putting Hudson-Odoi there if you wanted to swap things going forward, say in the second half or whenever you need to make changes in that game. But I think for me, Hudson-Odoi gets the nod. Now, controversial, I know, but I've gone for Romelu Lukaku up front. I think he's got to prove himself, and I think the only way he's going to do that if he's playing, and I think if he's not playing, well, one, it's going to get the fans' backs up because they want to see their 100 million striker performing and scoring goals. But at the same time as well, I think the only way that he's going to get out of the rut that he's been in or he's in is by playing games and getting that sort of rustiness off. He looks like he's back to how he was before he got injured, being very rusty and just sort of walking around, half running around the pitch. And, it's not good enough. And I've said that before. I know a lot of Chelsea fans are losing patience with Romelu Lukaku. And I keep saying on here, I'm going to keep saying it, he has to stop talking and put in performances. And that's not just for Lukaku. That's for Werner, that's for Pulisic, that's for Hakim Ziyech, Kai Havertz, all of these players that we've brought in for big money. They've got to start performing, and if they're not, then obviously there's a second conversation to have there. But in my personal opinion, Romelu Lukaku. Now, I've put Timo Werner next to Lukaku for the simple reason that he loves to make space. He loves to spread defences. He loves to cause havoc for defences. And I think, again, I've said it on the episodes that we've recorded previously, that he likes to do things off the ball that doesn't really get highlighted a lot for me in terms of people's analysis of Timo Werner. And I think for me, he's someone that will cause a lot of problems. I think Lewis Dunk's obviously still out for Brighton, who for me is a very good centre-back. He's a good player. But at the same time as well, I think Timo Werner, for me, gets the nod over Havertz. I think there's more that Werner can create and give us in a game like this against Brighton. So we need to... I think one of the things that is annoying me slightly with Chelsea at the moment is that front three or the front two, whatever it is, whatever formation we're playing, there isn't any consistency. So I think that's one of the things that's really starting to show going forward. Our attackers don't necessarily have that consistency. And I think especially up front, I think you need to have you think back to, the partnerships that certain players have had, Andy Cole, Dwight York, those kind of things, that it works because you know how to play off each other. And I think one of the problems that we've had is we've always swapped that front three. We've always swapped the front two. We haven't always played with a consistent front three. And I think when you don't do that, it allows for gaps and cracks to show. And, yes, you train with the players, you train with them every day, but when you're in a pitch environment, a match environment, it's totally different. And I think, we need to decide what we're going to do. Are we going to go with Werner and Lukaku as the main two and allow them to build that relationship together going forward, and knowing when to, that link up play that you just build up with someone? Or are we going to keep doing this inconsistent thing where we keep swapping the front three, trying to keep everyone happy and everyone fresh? For me, I think there has to be a confirmed sort of possible, 80% chance that these two are going to start or these three are going to start. I think when you keep swapping and changing, it is not working at the moment. So Thomas Tuchel's got that headache to think about as well. But in my opinion, that is the formation and the team that I would go with. Obviously, we've got a good bench. I think Thomas Tuchel confirmed yesterday there's no one else that's injured or no one else that's got any COVID related issues. So the squad should be as it is at the weekend as well. So we've got a nice bench to choose from. Obviously, we've got the likes of Ross Barkley, Kai Havertz, Christensen should be fit, I think, as well. So there's players that we can call upon if we need to. Marcus Alonso, another one as well. So Hakim Ziyech, there's players that we can call on. I think, in my opinion, this is something that we need to take this game very seriously. I think sometimes we go into games and we automatically think we're probably going to beat them, but Brighton are playing very well this season. As I said, I think they're 8th in the league. They're going to be pushing for hopefully Europe this season, try and get a Conference League place. But we have to win. We have to keep as much heat on Liverpool as possible. And the only way we're going to do that is if we win games and we play well. So I think we need to have a massive improvement against Man City, albeit it's a completely different game. But we need to show that we want this and that, we want to play the right way, not just running around and sloppy passing, not holding up the ball. There was so much of that and playing back. We need to start thinking about the attacking side of the game. Yes, be defensive, be compact, keep the ball, retain possession. I agree with all of that, but we need to think about going forward and how we're going to do that. And for me personally, I think that formation there, that lineup kind of tells me that we can do that. But if you disagree, if there's anything you would change in the formation or anything like that, let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. For me personally, that makes a lot of sense, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you drop them in there as well. Don't forget, guys, download Spotify if you haven't already. As I said at the start of this, there is no cost to using Spotify for podcasts. You can just download it, sign up, get on there, search From the Shed End. You'll be able to find us, listen back to all the episodes. It's very similar on Apple. Make sure you do that as well. Social accounts are at the top here, so if you can see them up there, make sure you follow them as well. And again, as I said at the start of this, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. We appreciate everyone who already is subscribed, but we need a few more people to boost up these numbers, get the algorithm going. But this has been T.Dot from the Shed End. Until next time, stay safe and thank you very much for watching.